Good morning.
Good morning.
We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree?
Yes.
You're knowing what you're wanting? You enjoy the evolution of your desire?
Yes.
You realize that we are taking thought beyond that which it has been before?
Yes.
That while this is a gathering of satisfying much of what you have come for, depending upon where you are in relationship to your desire. In other words, some of you have things you want to know about, and your vibrational proximity to that desire is not so far from it. So some soft, light conversation here with you focusing and achieving vibrational alignment with the answer. You move right into the vicinity of it and you receive it fully. But sometimes your life experience has you focused in a way that you are so much more aware of where you stand, which is not where you want to be, that even though you are articulating a question that really defines what you want to know or need to know or want to achieve or need to achieve, but you are so involved in the where you are, you're so aware that you don't know the answer or that you don't know what to do. You feel so discouraged or disappointed or resentful or angry or confused, or you just simply are more aware of the absence of what you want than what you want. So without even knowing it or meaning to, you've trained yourself into the vibrational habit of a thought or energy vibration that is so full of resistance, meaning it's about what you don't want rather than about what you do want. And of course, that's always an obvious first step. You always know more clearly what you do want when you know what you don't want. And sometimes life shows you through what you're living exactly what you don't want. But when that happens, an equal, proportionate, what you do want, the other side of that is born out of it. And when what you do want is born out of it, it becomes a vibrational point of attraction that begins to amass all circumstances and events in order to give you the full manifestation of what you want. But if you are still so aware of where you are and what you don't want, then you can't get to it and it can't get to you. You cannot rendezvous with what you want when what's most active in your vibration is your awareness of what you don't want. Some say, well, that's a little tricky, because when I know what I don't want, because I'm living what I don't want, shouldn't someone just give me what I do want so I can feel better? And we say, you've been trying to get that for a very long time, and it is not working out that well. In other words, when you demand that the universe give you something that you are vibrationally not a match to, it's not going to happen. You have to make the match. You have to move your energy. You have to train your thought vibration into a new place. You have to tell a new story. You have to find ways of describing what you do want so vividly and so often that what you do want becomes an active, chronic vibration within you. And when that happens, it has to manifest. It cannot be otherwise. So there are two ways that you can tell if you're a match to what you want or if you're a match to what you don't want. If you're a match to the presence of what you want, or if you're a match to the absence of what you want. One really obvious way, it's manifesting if you're a match to it. In other words, when you are a match to what you want, it's showing up in your life experience. The other way is you can tell by the way you feel, whether you're moving toward or away from what you are really looking for. We really prefer to teach you about your emotions, which help you to know whether you are lining up with or moving away from what you want, because that's really what you came forth to do as genius creator that you are. You want to mold the clay, the creative clay of this time-space reality. And the way you mold that clay is by molding the energy or the thought vibration through your focus. If you wait until it manifests, we call that post-manifestational awareness. Oh, don't like that. Didn't mean to do that. Whoops. It's hard to suck it back, isn't it? Once it's manifested, once it's in your body or not in your bank account, or once your relationship has crumbled or your empire, once you are discordant from what you are wanting to the degree that the discordant has manifested rather than the harmony, you still can turn it around, but it's harder. It's much easier to catch it in the early subtle stages. When you are in this vortex of creation, you are living as you've intended to be. So we want to show you how to get in, and we want to show you how to sustain being there as long as you can. In other words, once you get in, we want you to milk it and stay in, because the longer you are in there, the more of what you've been asking for can be revealed and received by you. But we do not want to give you the impression that it is your job to always and only be in the vortex. If that were your intention, you would have remained dead like us. If that were your intention, you would have remained only this pure positive energy that's always in the vortex. But you came forth with the intention of sometimes stepping out of the vortex into the contrast to know what you don't want so that you can know what you do want. You just did not one of you ever intend to make a lifetime career of being out of the vortex. You didn't plan on making it a career to be in the step one phase. And step one is ask. And contrast induces the asking. What you did plan was to step out into the real world long enough to see the contrasting elements of it in order to decipher what you want, in order to give birth to what you want. But you intended, every one of you, to then, once you have decided what you want, to then give your undivided attention to what you want. And undivided takes on a whole new meaning here today, doesn't it? Your undivided attention, meaning your attention undivided or same as the attention that the source within you is giving. When you look at someone and you see a flaw in them, you find fault with them, you see them as inappropriate in some way, you step away from who you really are, because the source within you will not do that, not ever, not one time ever. Every particle of negative emotion that you feel is because you have found a vibrational stance or attitude or opinion or mood or belief, an active vibration, that's all that stuff is, an active vibration that disagrees with the active vibration of the source within you. So, I'm not enough always disagrees because source knows who you are. You're not enough always disagrees because source knows who you are. You are bad, you are wrong, you are inappropriate. Always causes a distortion or a separation between you and you, because source is not making those judgments. There is an inside the vortex source that is the love and the culmination of all that has become. And we so want to find a way of you finding the resonance with that within you. Can't you think of holding someone, usually someone precious to you, usually someone young like a baby or a dog, someone that you were holding with adoration? In other words, that person has not yet cheated you, deceived you, mocked you, blamed you, or bitten you. And so, as you focus upon the positive aspects of this, you resonate with the positive aspects that the source within you feels. As humans, often, you want to sort behavior and people and beliefs and attitudes and desires into piles of right and wrong, and then you want to praise some piles while you condemn others. And what we want you to understand is that any pile you're praising causes source to be there with you. But any pile you're condemning causes you to deviate from source. Source will not join you in negative judgment or in pushing against anything unwanted, because source understands the way the universe works. Source understands that when you know what you don't want, an equal and equivalent desire is born. And source gives its undivided attention to that. That's why there is an eternal expansion and evolution of all things. If you could become so convincing that you could get source to come and join you in your negative contemplation, then there would be no source and there would be no eternity. Now, don't worry about it. It cannot happen. Non-physical energy is too smart for that. Sometimes humans say, well, that's not the story I heard about God. I heard that he holds very strict standards. We say, yeah, there's a lot of confusion about what those standards are, isn't there? You're killing each other all day, every day over your discontent or non-agreement about what you think God thinks you should do. But you say, no, the God that I've heard about holds very strict, very, very strict rules. And when I keep those rules, I am loved by God. But when I break those rules, then I receive the wrath of God. Then I am condemned by God. And we say, that is a God that man has fashioned when he was outside of the vortex. Because we promise you that that which is source, that which is the source of you, and that which is the source of all that you know, is a pure, positive energy, expanding force, evolving because of the asking that is constantly taking place on the leading edge of creation. It's a wonderful thing to realize who you are. And you know, you can figure it out personally. You don't have to take anybody else's word for it. Just get out there and do your own personal testing of who you are and who God is. Put this conversation that we've given you here to your own personal laboratory test. Find someone and focus upon the positive aspects of that person and maintain your attention to that until you feel the swelling and the fulfilling and the becoming of that broader energy. Feel what it feels like when the energy that creates worlds flows with agreement through you towards your object of attention. And then find something that you think is unjust. Find something that you think is inappropriate. Poke at it with a stick. Focus on it for a while. Bring yourself to a place of discontent and anger and frustration. Get into an attitude of real wrongdoing about it. And feel the emptiness of your being that is what is expressed through the negative emotions that you call depression or fear or anger or resentment or rebellion. Feel that emotion and ask yourself, does this feel like I'm filled up with the energy of source? Or have I managed to empty myself out by choosing something so contrary to that which source is that I've pinched myself off temporarily from that energy stream? So when you become acquainted consciously and deliberately with the guidance system that you are born with, when you start paying attention to the vibrational frequencies of harmony and allowing and alignment and blending, or of resistance and discord, when you start paying attention to the way you feel, you'll know whether you're in tune with who you are or not. Now here's the most important part of all of this, because some of you are hearing us in this context. You've come this far with us. You say, all right, Abraham, I accept that source exists, and I accept that I exist, and I can sort of kind of get it, that I can feel when I'm in sync with the love of source and when I'm not. And we say, but the story is bigger still. The reason that you, in your physical body, feel any negative emotion or any positive emotion, the reason that you feel the vibrational relationship is because in your living of life, you keep asking for more. And in that asking, hear this, in that asking, you keep becoming. When you ask, you become immediately what you're asking for. When you are sick and you ask for wellness, vibrationally speaking, you become it immediately. So the larger part of you has become well in your asking. And asking and asking and asking and asking and asking and asking. It happened the first time, but each time you ask, you amend the desire. So the vibrational body, that is you, has become weller every time you were sick. The vibrational beingness of you became more prosperous every time you felt not enough of something that you wanted or needed. So this vibrational aspect of you has already become more, and the emotion that you feel is completely and only about how well you're keeping up with your expansion or not.